Record. Hi, I'm Katie with Helmar. I am here bringing you my inspiration for July's challenge at the Helmar blog. And I will be using some Helmar products along with some Epiphany craft products, which were very fun to play with. I had never played with them before. They actually work quite well together. I love my Helmar adhesives too, Leslie. It's a little bit of an addiction. So, new thing this week, the Helmar USA website is now live. So, people in the US and Canada can order Helmar products right from that site. It is helmarusa.com. So, if you would like some Helmar products and you don't know where to find them locally, you go ahead on there and check that out. I highly recommend it. I know I will be ordering from there. And if you're in Australia, you still go to the helmar.com.au to order in Australia. So today I'm going to be bringing you my version of the July Helmar challenge. And I don't know if you guys have seen it on the blog, but Lydell, I'm going to do this backwards, found this really great image. Oh, there we go. Great graphics, great colors. I found lots of inspiration beyond the color for this for a layout, and I kept it clean and simple, which is just my style. So I'm going to bring you that tonight. So I'm going to switch over to my webcam so you can see how I started the process with this, and then move forward to what I did on my layout. So switching to my camera so you can see my table here. You can see what products I'm using tonight. I'll be using the craft glue in the 450 and the adhesive runner, and also Epiphany Crafts Scallop Circle. It's a mini, and their bubble caps, which were very fun to play with, and I had fun cutting them. So that's what I'm going to be working with tonight. So again, this is the challenge, and these are how I kind of started the challenge. I thought I would try and play with the fonts to begin with, working fonts into the layout on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I like to do 8.5 by 11 and then pop it on a 12 by 12. It's just something I do a lot. So when I started the base, I looked at the challenge picture and I saw an 8.5 by 11 page. I saw the design in here giving me some geometric shapes and giving me a design place to start. So what you can see here is I started by cutting 4 by 4 pieces of paper. It was double-sided, came with my Scrappy Chicks kit this month or last month. So I cut several of these out and I started playing. So I designed my page, what I thought was the base of my page. I thought I would do the fonts. It didn't quite work the way I wanted. It didn't fit how I wanted and still be able to see it because it overlapped, and you can see that here. So I still wanted the title. I still wanted the journaling. So I tried a different page. And I do this like the 8.5 by 11. I do a lot of computer, it's fuzzing, journaling on my pages, but trying to balance that with using embellishments and paper on top of it and making it fit. You'll find that I do this quite a bit, especially on my cards. So this was my second step. I liked the color. I liked the font. Again, I went back. I put these on here. I couldn't fit it in, so I had to compromise. I took out the font on my title work and I changed it around a little bit. And then I came to this. This is where I ended up. You can see the journaling down at the bottom. I'm going to take it all off. The journaling down at the bottom. You'll also, can you see the shadows from where it sat in the sun? You know what's perfect about that is now I can know exactly where to put my paper. So this is my base, and the 12 by 12 will be added on later. So I added my journaling. You can run any 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in for journaling. That's why I like starting here. So if I don't want to handwrite journaling, I want computer font journaling, this is the best way for me to start. So I started with this as my inspiration. And how did I bring this onto here? 4 different sheets of paper, prints of paper, 4 of them. I cut 4 pieces of paper so you can see where my squares are. 4 by 4 squares. And this is where I started. Here's my three of them. You can see how lovely they are. Where's my 4th one? I'm going to show you how I did this on the 4th one. My 4th one is a plain teal colored piece of paper because I wanted the teal brought out in Lily's eyes and Lily's hair. And this is Lily, by the way. This is my daughter Lily. She's 13. She's lovely and full of personality. And Lily wears a flower in her hair every day. So this is what we're doing. So I have a piece of scrap paper. Now all the paper that I used for this, for the squares, were scrap pieces of paper from leftover Scrappy Chicks kits. So I'm going to cut my teal paper into a 4 by 4 square. Super easy. So this is what I did with the other 3 sheets of paper, 4 by 4. And this is my Fiskars cutter. It is Lily. She's gotten big, hasn't she? So I cut it 4 by 4. Now I'm taking this and I want to cut it in half so that I have triangles. How old is your granddaughter now, Leslie? And I'm just cutting it corner to corner. Can you see where I'm just sliding this in? Let me bring it up just a little bit closer. So now I can have 2 triangles. 2 triangles. And I wanted to add a little texture at this point. So I'm going to use an embossing folder. Wow, she's 10, really? That makes me feel old. It's an embossing folder. You can see it has flowers on it to go with the flower theme. It's a Cart Us embossing folder. And right now they can only be found at Crop Stop in the United States, but they are one of my favorite embossing folders to use. Sharp images, and they go through my Big Shot really well. So how do I want to deboss it? I think I'm going to deboss it instead of emboss it. And so I'm just going to put it upside down in my embossing folder. There we go. And I'm going to run it through my Big Shot. And again, she has her own bottle as Helmar. How unfair is that? Well, cool for her, but I didn't even know what Helmar was till I was 40. Okay. So these don't have to be perfect, and they don't have to be even. They don't have to be touching. They just need to be embossed to add a little bit of texture here. So we're going to put this on our embossing side of our mat and slide it through nice and easy. Oh, look, the handle didn't fall off. Hello, guests. There are several of you. So I'm now done with my Big Shot, and I can move it out of the way. And now I have 2. Can you see how embossed this is? Debossing and embossing, they're fantastic. And you know what's great about Helmar tape runner? These will stick to my paper even though they're embossed. So I'm bringing back my 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And I want to set this up kind of in the geometric shape. I went more with a pinwheel style. Hi, Lydell. Love the challenge this month. totally inspired. So I like the shapes inside here. So I simplified how many were in there by doing what I consider a pinwheel style. And when I'm adding my printed paper, I have to pay attention to what side goes up. I have a tendency to put my stars upside down, my flowers upside down. So I'm totally going to pay attention to which way my hearts go. So I'm going to see where my pattern is, make sure I have it right. And make sure I have it in a pinwheel shape. So can you see where I'm going with this? Each one is opposite. That way I can have the same, it's the opposite side of it, so I know the hearts are going the same way. The stripes are actually opposite, and that was done on purpose. Now I want to add my flowers so they don't look upside down. And now my embossed pieces of paper. Now, when laying this out, it does not need to be perfect. It does need to be square on the outside, but on the inside, you won't be able to tell if there's spaces. Can't wait to see the next one. So this is what the base looks. So I'm going to just use my tape runner and place my pieces of paper down. And maybe to each other. This will just take me a minute. Any idea what the next one will be, Lydell? So I'm trying to pay attention. I want it about a ½ an inch from the top, not even a quarter of an inch from the sides. I try to make sure it's even, but I have a very hard time laying anything even. Now look at this. When we're doing this one, it's so nice. It will lay down nicely here. And just add a little to the corners to make sure it sticks. Look at how nice that lays. Even the embossed lays nicely on here. Nice and flat. So I'm just going to whip the rest of this up. Now this, I have to say, was really easy to come together. I think when you look at a challenge, quite often people look at colors, and that's not my thing. I like to look at the shapes in it. I like to look at the designs, the fonts, things like that. That is, that's why I loved this one so much, was because the design on it was so inspiring. I was able to pull several things, from the geometric shapes to the fonts to even the little scalloped. You'll find that I use the scalloped circles in here too. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I have a class that week with your challenge. I'll be looking for it. So I just want to make sure the bottom's even here. There we go. And one last piece. So as you can see, it's not perfectly spaced, but it is even on the top and the bottom. You're not going to be able to tell that it's not perfectly spaced, because we're going to add to this page with pictures and the bubble caps done with the Epiphany punch. We're going to hide the corners, and you'll see where I brought in the scallops on the from the design. So my next big thing is the picture of Lily. This is my focal point. I'm not going to evenly put this on my page. I'm going to put a little lower because I'm going to work some title work here. That title work that we saw up here that I decided to take off because there wasn't any room is now going to go a little bit on her picture and on the pretty pattern papers. I just like to put the tape on the corners, the edge, and a little bit in the middle. That's just enough. So, just about there. I like that. So if you look, you can see the pattern embossing paper, the flowered embossing paper, the flower paper, and the paper in her hair. All the same color, pops out her eyes. So at this point, I want to finish up my 8.5. Thank you. I want to finish up the 8.5 by 11 piece of this. So what I want to do now is I want to hide the corners where they met because they weren't perfect. And I did this in a very simple way. I took the Epiphany punch, and you can see the scallops, and a leftover piece of paper, and it's pink to complement there. And I took the bubble caps. These were fun. I had never played with these before. Hi, Janet. What a great concept to be able to put the paper in here and then the bubble in here and have it happen all at once. It's like taking a step out. So you take the cover off and the insert off. I'm pretty sure they call this an insert. And I'm going to put this bubble in here. I touched it, but my recommendation is not to touch it because you can, I don't know if you can see, but my fingerprint got on there. I'm going to slide this in so that it goes into the punch. So the bubble cap is right in the punch. It's kind of hard to see because it's a little shiny. And then the insert goes in. And I'm going to stand up because it does take a little arm power to do this. And I'm going to punch. And I actually need 2 of these. So I'm going to do one more after I show you. Now I took this, and if you can see, there seems to be a little bit of a shadow. All I do is kind of press on the top of it and then press on the bottom. And it takes those shadows out, and you can see the paper all the way through. It's kind of hard tonight because it's a bit, gosh, what's the word? Overexposed. That's the word I'm looking for. Took me a minute. So one more. Again, we're putting the paper in. I'm using the same paper. Do you need me to, how do I enable that? A picture would be great in it. I'm pretty sure I saw somebody do that with jewelry. They put a picture in the jewelry with the Epiphany craft. Okay, Cheryl, I think you're a mod now. On the Helmar site, I saw some cute jewelry done with that. Cheryl made one, I think. That was really pretty spectacular. So I'm going to put the paper back in, the bubble back in. Don't forget the insert. And pop it back down. And it just pops out nice and clean. That's what I love about this. It's clean, it's easy, and now I can stow it away. I'm going to press this a little bit more. You didn't use a picture? Oh, well, that's a great one. Hi, Susan. So I have my other one here. Now I'm going to do something very, very bad. I'm going to cut it. I was wondering how the epoxy would handle if I cut it, and it really handled nicely. So I'm going to cut this in half. And I do have to say you have to use sharp scissors in order to get a nice clean cut on it, but it totally worked. So I got a nice clean cut. And I'm going to use these as corners. I have 2 more that I've already punched out. So you can see right here, and I'm leaving one hole. So I'm going to use all my cut ones. Hello, Erica. So all my cut ones are going to be used as little embellishments at the top and at the bottom to hide the seams of where my squares are. Can you see that? The boss is, I have a boss? Nobody told me I had a boss. Okay, so I'm going to use my craft glue to glue these on. A little bit goes a long way, and I'm having a hard, I want to show you these, but I don't want to lift it up and have it fall. So just a little bit, and I'm going to put them down right here. And what's nice about the craft glue is if you get any strings, which I tend to do because I do use a little more than a little, you can just wipe it right away. It comes right off without ruining anything. So I'm taking my bubbles used with the Epiphany, punch, and epoxy, and I'm just hiding my corners. I want a bigger punch. That's what I decided. I like this small one an awful lot. And I think I want a button one. So I have one more. I'm going to put this one here. So that's my last one in the corner. And this actually dries pretty quick. So if you can see right now, I have my Epiphany bubbles hiding all my seams, so you wouldn't know that this bottom seam actually wound up not being quite even. So there we have that. Now we're missing a flower, the title. I like to use things that have been in my stash for a while, and I found some really old basil flowers. Pretty colors, perfect for this, perfect for here. And I'm thinking maybe I want my title on first and then put the flower around that. Yeah, I think that's it. So, American Craft stickers. And my title is What Flower Today? Because as I said, Lily wears a flower every day in her hair. And I'm just going to stick it right along the top and into the picture. I like title work into a picture. I know some people don't. Sometimes I even write on my pictures. She wears a flower every day in her hair. Every day. People quite often say, "Oh, I can't wait to see what flower you're wearing next." So I'm just going to find my letters and I'm just going to set them down. I'm not going to stick them yet. I don't want them to stick unevenly, but what's nice is if I just set them there, they won't stick right away. That's why I have to use craft glue with my alphabet sometimes. What flower today? It'd be nice if I could remember how to spell these. That's a big O. So I'm thinking that might have to go off my 8.5 by 11 a little bit. I think it just might. Let's pull that 12.5 by 12.5 paper over here. And you see how I put that 8.5 on here? Oh, that's too much work for me. All right. I think that'll work. I think I can add the title on that way. my question mark? There we go. Okay, I'm just going to finish this up because I keep trying to read what you guys are saying and I can't do that. All right. I'm going to flip this over and put some of my adhesive runner, my Helmar Quick Fix adhesive runner on the back, all along my borders, and in my middle. And I'm going to sit this down. I'm going to set it off center because I'm still going to add a little bit more on the left side of my page. And if you can see, I just flipped that over and manhandled that a little bit, and my little Epiphany half scallops, they stayed still with the craft glue. Oh, I'm liking that. See how I kind of went off to the side? Why? It was fun to cut and use scissors. It's fun to use the product in ways that people don't expect you to use it. Here we go. Now it's coming together. Sorry this is taking so long. But I thought of it, so now you can use it. I think I'm going to overlap my O right here. You'll see that I tend to just throw things together. I move my alphabets a lot, so I can't glue them down automatically with Helmar. I'm pretty sure the H comes after. Okay, here we go. What flower today? That's a little crooked. See, if I use my Helmar on my alphabets already, it would totally stay there. So I have a tendency that after layouts laid there for a while and alphabets start falling off that should have been stuck, I go back with my Helmar and glue them on. Yes, reglue with Helmar. So what flower today? So if you can see it here, I mean, let's bring the challenge picture back in. Can you see where I found my inspiration? You see the little scallops? It's awesome. The writing at the bottom. The writing at the bottom. So now I'm going to add my flower. Actually, I'm going to wait to add my flower because if you look here, hi Jess. If you look at the side, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there are staple marks. And I thought, oh, that's ingenious. I could keep my layout simple and add a little metal and not to take away from it. So I'm just going to go up about a ½ inch on the bottom and top and do, oh no, maybe I'm not. I ran out of staples. How does that happen? I ran out of staples. If you were my staples, where would you be? They might be right over here. Yeah, I don't know where my staples are, so you'll have to envision this. You know where yours are. Can you bring them to me? There's one other place. They might be right here. but they are not. So I do not know where the rest of my staples are. So I would love you to envision that I have 2 staples here and 2 staples at the top, because when I post this, it will have 2 staples. Who thinks you run out? Plastic drawers? No, that has all my ink in it. I'm not even going to try, because I could be looking forever and it would be right underneath my nose. So I did add, my theory was to add the staples. We have one in, you have the idea. The metal adds a nice contrast to the muted color of the tan and the bright pink. At least I think so. So I need what to finish off my layout? She wears a flower every day. I need flowers. I'm going back to the basil flowers that I had, and I'm going to layer them. I'm going to layer them with a little bit of quick dry, 450 quick dry adhesive, because you don't want to over wet them, but you want them to dry fast, so they'll go right on there. So I'm just adding a little bit. I'm going to do the pink, the blue, the pink, and if you can see, it comes right through. So I'm just going to keep adding it, and I'm going to hold it for just a second. And now it's stuck together. And I'm going to add just a tiny bit on the bottom because it's seeped through for me in that hole. What flower today? I'm thinking I want that right there. Right there. Now I have 1 scallop left over. Scallop. I could do brads or paper clips instead of staples, and I do know where both of those are. That is a great idea. I'm going to add the last mini scallop that I made with the epoxy bubble cap using the 450. I'm just going to put a dot on there and pop it in the center of my flower. Now I'm going to hold it because it is the paper plastic fabric combination. They do require patience because I can't do them. Well, I can, but they take a lot of time, and I like quick, if you could tell. So this is my layout. I'm going to find a paper clip. I think I have a bright pink one that would work. How sad is it that I know where all my embellishments are that I never use, but I don't know where my staples are that are a must. Shaped paper clip? There's some cute pink circle ones, or those. Oh, that would be cute. Let's see if I actually tape that side and can get it in without ruining it. Oh, I didn't tape it very well, did I? No, I did, because it's not letting me put it in there. So I think I'll stick with the staples when I find it, because the Helmar adhesive will not let me lift it up without ripping my paper, which is a good thing. I shouldn't be able to lift up my paper. It is here to stay. So this is my layout. It probably took me the same amount of time to record this class as it did to design it, come up with it, and everything. The July Helmar challenge totally was a great inspiration. I wish I would have started doing the challenges sooner, because had I realized that they were this wonderful, I could whip up a layout in 40 minutes. No time flat. To me, that's really quick. So, oh, where's my little... Oh, that needs some Helmar. Does anybody have any questions? Because I'm actually really done. That whipped up much faster than I thought it would. kind of think it is. I used my Cutter Bee scissors. Oh no, actually, I think yeah, by EK Success. They're old, really old, but I find that they're the sharpest ones I own. You could totally do this with more than one picture. Thank you, Cheryl. I don't have Tim Holt scissors. No, I don't. But I have 3 pairs of these. Oh, are you saying that I need something other than what I already have? I can explain how this came together. Actually, I used the July Helmar Challenge to put this layout together. I when I saw it, I saw lots of inspiration in from the fonts to the square in the middle with the shapes cut out to the scallops in the journaling at the bottom. And I thought I could create a layout not just based on color. I love the colors in it, but it wasn't where I found my inspiration. And I started with the square in the middle to start the base on my 8.5 by 11 page. And then I built around that. I built, used different prints to emulate the shapes in the square. And I used computer printed journaling on the bottom to emulate the writing at the bottom of it. I I totally was inspired by Lydell's challenge. And if she could do a challenge for me every day, I could probably whip up a layout in 40 minutes every day. So with that, I just pulled it all together. I pulled out what I had for my Helmar. I pulled out the Epiphany craft tool and papers from my Scrappy Chicks kits that were left over, and whipped this thing up with the cutest picture of my daughter ever. What Helmar did I use? Well, I showed that at the beginning too, and hopefully I said it as I was using it, but if I didn't, please slap my hand. I use the Helmar 450 quick dry adhesive. I used the premium craft glue, and those worked great with the Epiphany craft scallops and the epoxy. Stuck them right on there. I was able to lift my picture up and it didn't fall off within a matter of a minute. And I used my Helmar Quick Fix Adhesive Runner, which, as I said before, can be found on helmarusa.com now in the US, in Canada, and then also the Helmar. Hold on, I have it written down. Helmar.com.au in Australia. So you can find those there too. And the thing I really realized, and I don't know why I keep really realizing this, is once I stick something down with my Quick Fix Adhesive Runner, I can't really lift it up without ruining it. It's stuck there for good, and I love that. Thank you. So is that a good recap? I can't keep up. I'm having a hard time keeping up with you all chatting. I have to scroll my page. So if you find that I get distracted while I'm doing this, it's either because I am trying to read or whatever. Thank you, Miss Erica. Thank you, Leslie. I'm so glad you joined us. Does anybody have any questions? I know I said that before, but I'll ask again. And you know what? Make sure if you do July's Helmar challenge that you show it off. I'm pretty sure Erica, Cheryl, there's an album they can put that in, right? For the challenge. I can't remember where you put that, but you can go right to Helmar's blog, which is helmarusa.typepad.com, and it will have a picture of like the challenge Lydell posted for us. And where do they post their versions of the challenge? Nope, leaving that blank. It's just one of my things. I like to leave that a little empty. Thank you. Oh, I could do a paper punch border. That would look really pretty and feminine. I might have to add that. Thanks, Leslie. Cheryl shared the link for the July challenge on the Helmar blog. And also what you'll see is a lot more wonderful examples this week of this challenge. I saw a really super cute some wine bottles. I think I saw jewelry this week. Also lots of use of Epiphany craft tools this week. Definitely a great place for inspiration. Oh, and there's the album. I have that problem sometimes too, Janet. I know it doesn't always seem it, but I have that tendency with cards. Okay. I guess it depends on who you are. Well, thank you for joining me tonight so I could bring some Helmar glue and Epiphany crafts to you. Have a wonderful 4th of July if you're in the United States. Otherwise, have a great week everywhere else, and hopefully I will see some of your challenges on the Flickr in the Flickr account. Have a great night. Bye.